At my elder brother's engagement party, his fiancée mocked me as the poor, stinky idiot, not knowing I was the owner of the hotel they had just booked. She and her family learned the truth the hard way. Abby Johnson stood in front of the full-length mirror in her apartment, adjusting the simple black dress she had chosen for the evening. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't loud. But it was elegant, clean lines, quiet confidence. Abby had learned a long time ago that she didn't need to announce herself to command respect. Still, tonight wasn't about her. It was about her elder brother, Derek, and his engagement party. The invitation had arrived weeks ago, embossed and expensive-looking, sent by Derek's fiancée, Vanessa Carter. Abby remembered reading it with a small smile and a tight chest. She loved her brother deeply, but ever since he'd started dating Vanessa, something felt off. Vanessa had a way of looking through people instead of at them, especially Abby. It wasn't overt. It was subtle. Dismissive smiles. Half greetings. Whispered comments Abby always seemed to catch just a second too late. But Abby said nothing. She never did. Family meant everything to her. And tonight, she planned to show up, smile, and celebrate her brother, no matter how uncomfortable it felt. The engagement party was being held at one of the most luxurious hotels in the city, the Grand Orion. Valet parking. Crystal chandeliers. Marble floors that gleamed like mirrors. Guests in designer outfits stepped out of cars, laughter and confidence spilling into the air. Abby arrived alone. She handed her keys to the valet, who straightened immediately when he saw her. "Good evening, Miss Johnson," he said respectfully. Abby nodded politely. "Thank you." As she walked toward the entrance, she took a slow breath. She knew this place well. Every inch of it. From the marble tiles to the soft lighting that made everyone look richer than they were. Because Abby Johnson didn't just know the Grand Orion. She owned it. Inside, the ballroom was alive. Soft jazz played in the background. Golden lights shimmered across glass tables. Vanessa's family clustered together near the center, dressed in their finest, laughing loudly and scanning the room like they were royalty inspecting their court. Derek spotted Abby first. "Abby," he called, pulling her into a tight hug. "You made it." "Of course," she said warmly. "I wouldn't miss this for anything." He stepped back, smiling. "You look great." "Thanks," Abby replied. "Congratulations, big brother." Vanessa approached then, her smile tight, eyes flicking briefly over Abby's dress, her shoes, her lack of jewelry. "Abby," Vanessa said, drawing out the name. "You came." "Yes," Abby replied calmly. "Congratulations." "Thank you," Vanessa said, though her tone suggested obligation rather than gratitude. As Abby turned slightly, she didn't notice Vanessa lean toward her mother and whisper something. But she did notice the sudden laughter that followed, sharp, unkind, restrained just enough to be plausible deniability. Vanessa's voice was low, but not low enough. "Here comes the poor, stinky goat," she whispered, lips barely moving. Her mother chuckled behind her hand. Her father smirked. Abby froze for half a second. Not because she was hurt, because she was amused. She had been underestimated her entire life. Quiet people often were. Abby didn't dress to impress. She didn't talk about money. She didn't post luxury vacations online. She let people assume whatever they wanted. And they always did. She turned slowly, her expression neutral, and met Vanessa's eyes. Vanessa looked away immediately, lifting her chin as if she'd said nothing at all. Abby smiled faintly. The party continued. Drinks flowed. Toasts were made. Vanessa's father, Raymond Carter, gave a speech about class, standards, and marrying into the right kind of family. He glanced briefly at Abby as he spoke, his eyes lingering with thinly veiled judgment. Abby listened patiently, hands folded, posture relaxed. She noticed the event planner whispering nervously to a hotel staff member near the bar. She noticed the assistant manager scanning the room anxiously. She noticed how often the staff glanced in her direction, then quickly looked away. At one point, Mr. Thompson, the hotel's general manager, approached her discreetly. "Good evening, Ms. Johnson," he said respectfully, his voice low. "Everything is going smoothly, so far." Please let me know if you need anything. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Abby replied softly. Carry on as planned. Vanessa noticed the interaction. Her eyes narrowed. She leaned toward Derek. Why is the manager talking to your sister like that? Derek shrugged. Probably just being polite. Vanessa scoffed. They don't talk to everyone like that. Abby excused herself and walked toward the balcony overlooking the city. The lights stretched endlessly, glowing against the night sky. She rested her hands on the railing, breathing in the calm. She hadn't come tonight to make a scene, but she also hadn't come to be disrespected. Behind her, the music swelled. Laughter rose. Vanessa's family basked in what they believed was their moment of triumph. None of them knew the truth yet. None of them knew that the poor, stinky goat they had mocked was the sole owner of the hotel they were standing in. And none of them realized that by the end of the night, everything was about to change. The music in the ballroom softened as dinner service began. Servers moved in smooth, synchronized patterns, placing carefully plated meals in front of each guest. Vanessa sat at the head table beside Derek, her posture straight, chin lifted, basking in attention. To anyone watching, she looked like a woman stepping confidently into a better life. But her eyes kept drifting. Every few seconds, Vanessa glanced across the room, toward Abby. Abby sat quietly at a table near the side, sipping water, responding politely when spoken to. She laughed at the right moments. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't seek attention. Yet somehow, she seemed untouchable. Even the staff treated her differently. Respectfully. Carefully. Vanessa noticed. She leaned toward her mother, Linda, lowering her voice. Do you see how the staff keeps checking on her? Linda frowned. Maybe she knows someone who works here. Vanessa scoffed. Please. Look at her. She probably begged for an invite. Raymond Carter, her father, joined in. Some people like to pretend they belong in places like this. You can always tell by how quiet they are. Vanessa smiled, reassured by her parents' agreement. Still, the unease didn't leave her. Across the room, Mr. Thompson spoke quietly with the event planner, Tanya Brooks. Both glanced toward the head table, then toward Abby. The Carters are getting a little too comfortable, Tanya whispered. Mr. Thompson nodded. Ms. Johnson told us to let the evening play out. Are you sure? Tanya asked. They're being rude. She's very sure, Mr. Thompson replied. Back at the head table, Derek stood to make a toast. He raised his glass, smiling nervously. I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, he said. Family means everything to me, and I'm grateful to be starting this next chapter surrounded by people I love. Abby lifted her glass slightly, pride softening her expression. Vanessa clapped enthusiastically, then rose to speak as well. I want to thank my family, she began, voice confident, for raising me with standards, for teaching me what it means to build something meaningful with the right people. Her gaze flicked briefly toward Abby again. And, of course, Vanessa continued, I'm grateful for this beautiful venue. We wanted something that reflected the life Derek and I are stepping into. The room murmured in approval. Abby smiled faintly. Vanessa didn't see it, but Mr. Thompson did. As dessert was served, a small commotion erupted near the entrance. A guest complained about a reserved VIP section being used without authorization. The assistant manager hurried over, panic clear on his face. I'm sorry, sir, he said quickly. That area is reserved. Raymond Carter waved him off dismissively. We're the bride's family. The assistant manager hesitated. I understand, but that section is under special instruction. Vanessa stood. Do you know who we are? She snapped. This is my engagement party. The room fell quiet. Abby looked up slowly. Mr. Thompson approached immediately, his tone calm but firm. There seems to be a misunderstanding. Raymond crossed his arms. Your staff is being disrespectful. Mr. Thompson nodded. I apologize if it feels that way. However, certain areas of the hotel are not open for guest use without approval. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Approval from who? You. Mr. Thompson paused. Then he looked past Vanessa, toward Abby. With approval from Ms. Johnson, he said evenly. The silence was thick. Vanessa turned slowly, confusion flickering across her face. Ms. Johnson? Abby met her gaze calmly, setting her glass down. Yes, Abby said softly. Vanessa laughed nervously. Wait, what? Mr. Thompson straightened. Ms. Abby Johnson is the sole owner of the Grand Orion. A ripple of shock spread through the room. Derek's face drained of color. Raymond's mouth fell open. Linda clutched her purse tightly. Vanessa stared at Abby like she was seeing her for the first time. You own this place? Vanessa whispered. Abby stood gracefully. I do. The humiliation hit instantly. Whispers erupted. Guests exchanged glances. Phones subtly lifted. Vanessa's cheeks burned. The poor, stinky idiot had just become the most powerful person in the room. And this was only the beginning. The ballroom buzzed with whispers, the kind that crawled across the room like electricity. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Forks hovered in the air. Every eye shifted between Abby and Vanessa, trying to process what had just been revealed. Vanessa's smile had completely vanished now. She laughed again, but this time it sounded hollow. This isn't funny, she said, forcing a chuckle. Is this some kind of joke? Abby didn't respond immediately. She simply stood there, calm and composed, hands relaxed to her sides. The same quiet woman Vanessa had dismissed moments earlier now held the attention of the entire room without raising her voice. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat. This is not a joke, ma'am. Ms. Johnson has owned the Grand Orion for 7 years. 7 years. The words hit hard. Raymond Carter straightened his jacket, his earlier arrogance melting into discomfort. 7 years, he repeated. That's impressive. Linda's expression shifted instantly. Her lips curled into a polite smile that hadn't existed before. Oh. Well, that explains the staff's respect, she said lightly, as if she hadn't laughed just hours earlier. Abby watched the transformation without surprise. Vanessa turned slowly toward Derek. You knew about this? Derek shook his head, stunned. No. Abby never talks about her business. Vanessa looked back at Abby, eyes wide. Why wouldn't you tell us? Abby finally spoke. Because no one asked, and because my worth doesn't come from what I own. The words landed quietly, but powerfully. Guests murmured in agreement. A few nodded subtly. Vanessa felt the room turning against her. Raymond cleared his throat again. Miss Johnson, I hope you didn't take anything the wrong way earlier. You know how family jokes can be. Abby met his gaze steadily. Calling someone poor and stinky isn't a joke. It's disrespect. Linda's smile faltered. Vanessa's face flushed deeper. I didn't mean it like that, she said quickly. I was just whispering insults. Abby finished gently. About someone you barely know. Vanessa's eyes glistened. I didn't know you were this. Abby tilted her head slightly. And if I wasn't? That question cut through the air. Vanessa had no answer. Derek stepped forward, his voice tight. Vanessa, you said that about my sister? Vanessa hesitated. That hesitation was enough. Derek exhaled slowly, disappointment washing over his face. Abby has supported me my whole life. She paid my college fees when I struggled. She helped Mom when Dad passed. And you thought it was okay to mock her. Vanessa reached for his arm. Derek, please. He pulled away gently. I need some space. The words felt final. Around them, the illusion of a perfect engagement party was collapsing. Guests quietly began leaving. The laughter was gone. The confidence Vanessa had walked in with evaporated. Raymond leaned toward Abby, lowering his voice. Ms. Johnson, maybe we can talk privately? Clear the air? Abby looked at him calmly. There's nothing to clear. Respect should come standard. Mr. Thompson stepped in. Ms. Johnson, would you like us to continue the event? Abby glanced around the room, at the discomfort, the embarrassment, the truth exposed. No, she said. I think the night has already said enough. Mr. Thompson nodded and discreetly instructed the staff to begin closing down sections of the ballroom. Vanessa stood frozen, watching everything she thought she had unravel in real time. Because for the first time in her life, money and status couldn't save her. And the hardest lesson was sinking in. She hadn't been humiliated because Abby was rich. She had been humiliated because she was cruel. The ballroom had quieted now, the grand chandeliers reflecting a softer, almost somber light. Vanessa's family huddled together near the entrance, whispering anxiously to one another, their earlier confidence completely gone. Abby stood near the center of the room, her posture calm and composed, radiating an unshakable presence that everyone seemed to unconsciously respect. Vanessa approached Abby, her steps hesitant. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the panic she tried to hide. "Abby, I'm sorry," she stammered. "I didn't mean what I said earlier. It was just a joke. I swear." Abby looked at her quietly, her dark eyes unwavering. "A joke," she repeated, her tone steady. "You called me a poor, stinky goat in front of everyone, Vanessa. That wasn't a joke. That was disrespect, pure and simple. And now, everyone knows who you truly are." Vanessa's mouth opened, as if to argue, but no words came out. Derek, still standing a few feet away, crossed his arms and shook his head. "I can't believe you would talk to my sister like that," he said, his voice low but firm. "She has always been there for me. She's helped me, supported me, and you humiliated her." Vanessa swallowed hard. "Derek, I didn't know." "Didn't know?" Derek echoed. "Do you think ignorance excuses cruelty? Tonight, you've shown your true self. And I don't know if anyone here should trust you after that." Abby raised a hand gently to stop the tension from escalating further. "Derek, let me handle this," she said. Her voice was calm, almost regal. "Vanessa, this isn't just about tonight. It's about respect. It's about understanding that your words have weight. And the moment you mock someone thinking they're beneath you, life has a way of balancing the scales." Vanessa's face flushed, embarrassment and fear mixing in a cocktail of regret. She looked at her parents, Raymond and Linda, who avoided Abby's gaze. Their expressions were a combination of anger, shame, and disbelief. Abby continued, "I own this hotel. Every inch of it. The staff, the layout, every table, every chandelier, everything you're standing on tonight belongs to me. And tonight, you've learned what it means to underestimate someone." Vanessa's knees wobbled. She opened her mouth again, trying to speak, but Abby's voice cut through, calm yet commanding. "I'm not here to humiliate you further," Abby said, taking a step closer. "I'm here to make a point. Respect isn't earned by titles, by weddings, or by money. Respect is earned by character. And tonight, you've shown your character." There was a long pause. Guests shifted uncomfortably, sensing the gravity of the moment. Vanessa's family had gone quiet. Even Derek looked like he was processing a truth he had only glimpsed until now. Abby smiled faintly, soft but powerful. "You can apologize. You can grovel. You can try to repair what's left of your pride. But remember this, humility comes too late when arrogance blinds you. Tonight was your lesson." Vanessa's lips trembled. I understand," she whispered. Abby nodded once. "Good. Now, please leave the ballroom. Your parents, too. I'm going to spend the rest of the night ensuring my brother enjoys his party without further chaos." Vanessa's family moved toward the exit, casting glances at Abby that were a mix of fear and reluctant admiration. The guests, once gossiping and laughing, now regarded Abby with newfound respect. Derek walked up to Abby and wrapped her in a grateful hug. "Thank you," he murmured. I don't know what I would have done without you tonight." Abby smiled softly, releasing him. "I'm your sister. You've got a lifetime of support from me, Derek. But remember this, don't ever let anyone disrespect you, or those you love. Not even someone close to you." The remainder of the evening passed quietly. Guests lingered, conversations more subdued, respect now anchoring the atmosphere. Vanessa's earlier arrogance had been replaced by an uneasy humility, and Abby's quiet strength had become the centerpiece of the night. As the party ended, Abby looked around at the hotel she owned, the people she had protected, and the respect she had commanded without raising her voice unnecessarily. Her eyes glimmered with satisfaction, not from revenge, but from justice served naturally. She knew this night would be remembered, not because of money, not because of wealth, but because of character. And Abby Johnson had proven, once again, that underestimating her was the gravest mistake anyone could make. And in that moment, surrounded by the shimmering chandeliers and the city lights outside, Abby smiled to herself. Tonight wasn't just her victory. It was a reminder to everyone that respect could never be bought. It had to be earned. All right, lovelies, we've come to the end of my story. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if this story lifted something in you. Comment and give this story a thumbs up. Thanks, you loveliest.